one. How we doing, traders? Welcome to Live Trading with Benzynga. Look, I got these guys here.
What is up?
Bright and early, ready to go ahead and nail the day down. We're going to be with you till 10 a.m. today, so definitely smash the like on up. This means that we're probably going to be taking some quick trades, nailing it down. I'm going to talk to Ryan and Zunaid to see what they're looking at out there in the market. Like always, guys, we're going to pay attention. There was a jobs number that was released. It was really kind of underneath that number, but we're starting to see kind of the overall job market also come back. So what do you guys see out there, and what stocks are on your radars?
All right. Well, first, I'm going to start with the stock that I talked about not long ago. Let me go ahead and share my screen here for you, Mitch. Sorry about that.
Yeah, not a worry at all. We'll get it rolling.
This is a stock that I talked about not long ago here on the show with you guys. I told you this was a long-term hold for me. We talked about
the
it.
Chara.
We talked about this when it was about 465 or so. I got some really exciting news yesterday. We discovered that the private equity firm that had a large position that was effectively suppressing the price because they were selling into any type of pop, that piece of stock was sold in an not public transaction. It wasn't on the open market. It was actually sold to another firm, Portalon, who now owns 10% of the company. With that piece being gone, the stock traded completely different yesterday. And this is really, really exciting. I want to see, is this a one-day phenomenon? Do we pull back maybe to that 480 level? How is this actually going to trade going forward? I'm still very bullish on this. This is one of the picks that's going to last for several years, but I just got some really good news yesterday, so I want to see how that goes. Some of the other news that I'm assuming you're going to talk about, Mitch, perhaps even Zunaid on a YOLO, here's some of the GameStop news that we got yesterday. Looks like GameStop had a pop after hours talking about NFTs and all of that, so I really want to see how that trades, and I also want to see if this trading effect bleeds into some of the other meme stocks that maybe did not release this NFT headline, just because that's kind of happened before. So I want to see if that happens today. Otherwise, as you had already mentioned, I want to see how the market reacts to this jobs print once it opens. The pre-market reaction is not necessarily what I'm looking for. I want to see what happens when the volume hits.
All right, guys. Yeah, we'll definitely take a look, of course, at that GME. Of course, I mean, that's why we can just use Benzynga Pro, right? I don't even need to know the news. We just look up at the top of our detailed charts here.
You, man.
Why is it moving? Why is it? Read it and weep, right? I mean, let's see. Let's take a look. GameStop shares are trading higher following the Dow Jones report suggesting the company plans to launch a business unit dedicated to NFTs and cryptocurrency. For you guys that are GameStop fans out there, I would really like to ask, one thing that I noticed is I had already kind of heard about the NFT talk, but one thing I didn't hear was mentioned before was actual cryptocurrency being mentioned. I know that there was a tweet out by Kramer trying to take claim that it was his idea to begin with and that they should pay him out a royalty. But I didn't even know about the cryptocurrency talk. So let me know if this was said before. And that's why we have a chat. That's why we got a community, right? Let's go ahead. Let's go to my man, the one, the only, the YOLO Zunaid. What's going on out there? What's up?
What's up, man?
Hope?
Yeah. So yesterday, I heard you talking about Tesla trying to short it. I'm glad you did it because it would not have worked out for you.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
And
it wouldn't have worked out.
I was happy to finally give our viewers a winner on my way out. But I just want to explain real quick, since we've got some time here, on why I did that. Right, we took that long on Tesla, right, because it closed above VWAP is where we took it, and then we kind of rode it. And I agree with you on this point that if this did come down and close below this 150 area, then yeah, you'd want to go back and go short and see if we can test the 1020 lows. But because it was above VWAP, I liked it. I liked how the volume came in there. You can see it's kind of high above average. I went ahead and took that one again. Look how it came back and double dipped right around that VWAP, and the 150 area would have been your stop loss. So just want to explain once again how important it is to check out VWAP, to have it be your support, your resistance, maybe get in, get out, scale out, whatever the case may be. And then you can see I got a chance to play the pop yesterday towards the end as well on Tesla. So Mike, I hope you're happy. I played Tesla, buddy. And I saw you tagged me in a tweet. So we'll check out Tesla too. I'm going to wait until it kind of maybe comes down to like 1050 to get in.
Really quickly, I
something?
just
What's
want to
up?
mention to the chat that it looks like some people are having trouble. YouTube not recommending 1080p today. So what you need to do is you need to hit the little wheel on your YouTube, hit your settings, customize settings, and set it towards 1080. That way you got us in full high definition. You should not see any blurry charts. If you are, refresh, hit that wheel, and go ahead and fix your kind of view there. Get an HD here.
It looked like the refresh actually did it.
Sometimes what happens is YouTube tries to recommend what is the best. Let's just say YouTube doesn't recommend the best. Let's go ahead. We'll move forward. Tesla there tried to
so Tesla up. You can just see the VWAP test, and of course you can see the breakout here. That's why it's very important to kind of draw those trend lines to see where you can get in, get out, whatever. But that's one that we had a great chance to play yesterday. Mike, I'm going to go ahead and try to play this again. If it can come down here to the 1050s and give me a little bit of bounce, that would be splendid. But that's how we played Tesla yesterday. That's why, and that's what I'm looking for here today on Tesla as well. And Mike, don't get mad at me, but I'm playing NVIDIA. I'm already in. I'm already in, right? Look, call it revenge trade, whatever, but it's because of that 280 level. I saw it hold in pre-market, came back, held again. So I went ahead and went long. I'm going to go and take some shares out actually now that it's near VWAP. But won't trade this unless we get a really good setup. And let's go ahead and take a look at AMC. $22 is where I'd look to get long in terms of a dip buy, if you will, and then maybe above 24 if it can go ahead and show some strength into the move to the upside. We can try to get to that 26 piece. And I know DWAC after hours, or I guess a couple maybe 30 minutes before and then after hours, it made a little bit of a move. So this one I'll be interested to see as well. It looks like 55 is holding right now. I don't know if I'll get in because it could easily just flush down, but that is a level I'm interested in. But the main one that I want to keep an eye on is going to be about this 50.37 because one, it's the previous close, which we know can be support or resistance, but also because it's near that $50 hold number, which I believe would go ahead and be a nice area. And real quick, someone's asking me, do you consider the wash rule when trading NVIDIA? My account is marked to market. Highly recommend you kind of Google it unless someone wants to kind of dive into it real quick. But basically, because my account is marked to market, I am flat at the end of the year in terms of tax purposes, and I don't have to deal with wash sale rules or any of that.
And
what's
real
up?
Quick, I just wanted to jump in here because you were talking about DWAC. We had a question in the chat here that asked if you can please cover if DWAC is a value stock. Now, I think that this question is a joke, but just in case it isn't, I'm going to treat it like a serious question and show you how you can figure that out. Mitch, if you bring up my screen here real quick, I'm of course going to use Benzynga Pro. It's going to be super simple. We're just going to type in DWAC into the details tool. We're going to get a whole bunch of information here on the side about it. The thing that I want you to pay attention to is the ratio of its revenue to its market cap. We have a company with $0 in revenue and a market cap of $2.24 billion. That is not cheap on any definition, anywhere, in any country, anywhere. So no, this is absolutely not a value stock. It would be the complete opposite of that. Great question.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Luke. Is it a value stock? I don't know, but before Benzinga puts any of their own investment in this one, good luck to that because that might not work out. But no, it's not a value stock. Would not do it. But if you want to invest in it, use Ryan's paycheck. There you go. That'll work out really well. One last one. Let me take a look at GME. I'll be honest, I haven't looked at this one yet, but I figured the 150 would be somewhere where I'd want to get in. Looks like the 148. Look at that, right? I mean, just look at the levels pre-market and after hours as well. That's once, twice, and 3 times that level is held. So if I was interested in this one, I'd get in around 150, but my stop loss would be below the 146.86. And because it's GME, it's going to be a crazy, wicked move. And of course, over the highs of 176, we can possibly go ahead and test the $200 level. So those are my alerts. That's what I've got set. Anything else coming to mind, I'll go ahead and let you guys know.
All right, for me, it needs to hold 160 on the upside to look for upside moves. Any break of 160, and I'll be looking for downside moves back to 150. We'll see what happens in GME. For this case, you can also, of course, watch AMC, right? Today, it's doing the same move as GME. Always moves hand in hand. I know that some people don't look for the relationship, but look what happened at the pop of that GME pop yesterday. Same thing, pop and fade, right? So if you see a GME lead on the upside today, you could possibly look for a laggard play in AMC. If you see GME lead to the downside today, we could possibly look for AMC to continue on the downside. So that's what I'm going to be looking for, the relationship there. Another relationship that showed up clear as day to me was BBW with these. Why? Because look how this Build-A-Bears chart has still been holding and ripping. This could actually be one of the meme stocks that pushes up today. I'd be kind of watching this one for some reason. Let's say GME starts pushing up a little bit, but you see a big reaction come out of BBW. This could still be pushing on up. And I guess inflation doesn't work on the Build-A-Bears because look at that chart, guys. What do you guys think? That's a daily.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty awesome chart. I mean, if you
didn't know the name, if I didn't tell you this was Build-A-Bear and I took the name off of it, you would probably think this is a pretty good looking long chart.
I'd be like, this chart looks great. We're on the verge of potentially breaking out here. It looks like a great swing opportunity. No, but when you tell me it's Build-A-Bear, I get a little trepidation on trading it.
Hey, we'll see what happens, guys. Resistance that it has is right above it near 23s. Also 2240s kind of acted as resistance in the prior time here in December. So let's see if that pulls back to that and holds at 2240, then pushes back on up. We'll see if we get that push. All right, another stock, of course. Yesterday's trade of the day was Lucid Short. We're going to be looking also for Lucid Short again today. Really, the big thing for me is that it came back towards a resistance here. So you see how this is kind of the resistance on up. We're actually going to pull this line here of this 37.56 up towards that resistance. So you see kind of this resistance here. Look how it held up when it came up towards that level and then started going sideways through that level. We need to see if it's going to go back on through 38 on the upside if you're looking for upside moves on Lucid. But if it breaks down towards the downside, let's say it goes towards this 36.68, I'm going to be looking for shorts. One of the things that I would say on Lucid is let's wait for the reaction versus jumping into the short really quickly out the gates. I'll look for more of the 15-minute short where the stock takes that big dip into the first 5 minutes of the stock, then comes back to VWAP, and we nail it down.
How about Rivian? Since you're talking about Lucid, what do you think about Rivian?
Yeah, Rivian's another good one. The thing is about Rivian is it's harder levels to go off of, but it did kind of do the same thing, right? Coming back towards a resistance, 88.97, or you could just say 89 to make it kind of simple here. That's what I would look. So you got this push on up, you got a 1 up, 2 up, 3 up. Look for that next one to take out 88 and hold. If it doesn't hold that 88 on the upside, get to 89, then you'd look for a down move back to support. Support could be back down towards this 84 today. And then we'll see if it takes out that 84. But it does have some upside look, but it needs to get through that 89 and 88. We'll see what happens in Rivian.
Mitch, can I jump in here real quick?
Mm-hmm.
We got a question here from Thumbs Up Runners. It says, Ryan, idea. Can you add a way to watch the YouTube feed inside Benzynga Pro pages? Let me go ahead and throw my screen up. I got good news for you, Thumbs. That is already available, my friend. If you open up your chat module, in fact, let me get rid of the question here so you can see it. Can you make it screen for me, Mitch?
Got you. Going full screen for you.
All right. So if you open up the chat module, you'll notice it's going to be docked on the left-hand side of your chat. And if you come to the bottom, you can select some of the different chat rooms. One of them is Benzynga TV. And the Benzynga TV channel is going to have the live YouTube stream, whatever's on, playing at the top of that channel. So if I go ahead and hit play here, there we are. We are playing right within Benzynga Pro. And the other thing that you can do is you can resize the chat. It won't make the video any bigger because it's limited there. Sorry. That's easier.
Another tip is you pop it out, right?
Yeah, it looks like you can pop it out.
If you need it to be bigger, you can just pop it out.
So great question, Thumbs. We actually already have that available for you. Hopefully this is helpful.
Boom. There you have it right at the top. Thank you for showing that and sharing that. And thanks for the question, right? Because I'm sure you're not the only one that had that question. Thumbs up, runner. So I appreciate you asking that. Mario asking, what's up with Cat? This is what it's all about. Cat went big with the other days. What is this play on? This play to me is more infrastructure stock play, right? And I'm looking for Cat to continue moving on up. It's one of my favorite plays going into 2022. Why? Because I'm looking for the infrastructure build to really come into play and kind of give us that move. So one thing that we are seeing is that we're starting to get above here, and we want to make sure that we hold towards pullbacks. But I think you could see a nice little lift. Maybe it comes back underneath 2020s, but 215 for me is a really nice level for Cat. And I think eventually we come back and we take out 240s in 2020. Of course, DE is the leader here right now. I would look at Deere to continue leading on up. If this can take out, let's say 385, you could look for CAT for some sympathy and continue playing the industry. Another one that I really like in this one is Honeywell. And I'll go ahead and let you touch these, Ryan, but this would be the last one. This is my last favorite one. And GE back to 100 is not a bad one. I've talked about this on Monday. It's still holding that 100. Let's see if it takes that next leg up.
Mitch, I know you were talking about really liking these. I'm not sure. What was your time frame for these? Are you talking about for day trades, swing trades?
No, this to me is like first quarter.
Gotcha.
That would be my time frame for these kind of stocks. And really, it's all about infrastructure coming back into play after it came out of favor, coming into favor. So a lot of times I'm looking for what was out of favor. Could it come back into favor? Sure. And to me, infrastructure stocks.
And if you're going to look for it on more of like a shorter term time frame, one of the things you can look at here, let me go ahead and pull up my
let's do it
here real quick. One of the things you can look at using the 5-minute chart that Mitch was actually just on, you can see that this actually put in a high on what, the 5th of January, 223.37. And what's funny about that is that Deere and Honeywell have very similar formations going back to the same day. 386.50 for Deere, and then on Honeywell here, you have it at 215. So if you're going to try and take a shorter term trade, if we take out some of these previous recent highs, you might get a little bit of a push there, and that might be your trigger for taking a shorter term trade on these names. I too, Mitch, the way I think about this is I'm really bullish on some of these infrastructure stocks. You name Deere and Caterpillar especially being my favorite.
Yeah, one of the things also to mention is Caterpillar released their autonomous tractor, right? They're still trying to get into different areas. A lot of people would look at farming and construction like it doesn't have innovation, but really, I think you're going to see a lot of innovation in that industry in the next 5 years due to what? Kind of those technologies like autonomous or maybe even satellite use to understand how to better grow their crops, take care of their cattle. Those kind of things are definitely going to come into play. Technology coming into farmers is actually an interesting play there, disrupting a really old kind of industry, right? I mean, all right, guys. So what's another top play out there? Looks like Ryan looking at Discovery. I caught you, Ryan. That's one of my favorite ones also.
This jumped off the list. I'm just reviewing the movers list, and I was like, oh, here's Discovery. This is one of Mitch's plays. Look at the green bar it had yesterday. Oh, look at the pre-market it's having today. What are you thinking here on Discovery?
It's a good one. If you take a look at it daily, one of the things that really showed up was when we started changing over to value, right? That's when you started seeing this pop. And then I started seeing the continuation move. One of the things that I would say about Discovery is that they do have also that deal that's going to be closing up, right? I'm not exactly sure if that closes in the first quarter or the second quarter, but I'm looking to see when that deal is going to be closing. That can help them get another big amount of content into their stock. Now, one of the things of Discovery that has an advantage is that if you go ahead, and I would love for people to do this in the chat also, what are your favorite networks to watch? If you realize anything that's outside of, let's say, your local networks like NBC, CBS, or these kind of companies, you're going to probably name maybe some sporting companies. But after that, what is it going to be named? A lot of the companies like HGTV, Food Network, Discovery, pretty much all your kind of lifestyle, everyday kind of content that a lot of the people watch is on Discovery Plus. And I think with that being mentioned, I think you're going to see their subscriber base really grow this year.
And real quick on Discovery here, notice that this morning, Bank of America Securities upgraded Discovery to a buy and raised the price target from 34 to 35. That's probably why you're seeing this pop here in the morning. Will be interesting to see if this is more of a gap and go strategy or a situation where this continues to trade up as we're, about $18 beneath that current price target. Remember, those price targets are 12-month price targets, but even so, getting a nice pop here this morning.
All right. So one of the things that we've been trying to do, guys, is bringing in a watch list from Benzynga Pro that is made from the chat. Yesterday, we had some stocks on here. So I'm going to keep it going for today. We had like Ford, BBBY, MU, Apple, NVDA. You see Nike on here, even Zillow being mentioned, WBA, Lucid's on here. If you guys got a stock that you guys want to add to the watch list, throw it up in the chat. I'm going to be pulling some of these right now. Looks like Will's mentioning CrowdStrike. I'm seeing Viacom mentioning Snap. There you go. I'll go ahead and I'll add these to the watch list. That's an interesting chart. Take a look at Snap for me, Ryan, if you can.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Kind of take a look to see what you're seeing on Snap while I'll pull some of these into our watch list.
So Snap, this one, a super high flyer, one of the best performing social media sites of last year, social media stocks, excuse me, of last year. It's taken a kind of a big beating here. I believe that this huge gap down was on an earnings miss. It's continued to trade lower here, but I feel like we're trading into a support area. Of course, the question here is going to be, we just talked about DWAC jokingly being a value stock. Of course, it isn't. This one, very, very similar, right? $3 billion, $3.7 billion in revenue versus a market cap of $67 billion. Obviously not nearly as bad, still not really cheap. And some of these high flyers, if the value trade continues to hold, some of these high flyers not only can get cut in half, but in some cases cut in half again. So the way that I would actually look at this, here we are below the 500-day moving average. To me, the next really good point of support looks to be about 38.50. I'd round that up to maybe 39, about $1.50 from where we're at right now, or about $2 maybe from where we're at right now, $1.50 to $2 from where we're at right now. I think that this will probably bounce. The question, of course, is going to be how long or how big is that bounce going to be? Mitch, would probably use some of your measuring techniques to try and figure out what we can expect if we do in fact bounce. I think you're muted, Mitch.
The old mute trick. I didn't want you guys to hear my keyboard clacking away. So
we're just testing you.
No, yeah, that's how it goes. So to me, Snap is an interesting chart, but the real question is, how can they keep this stock moving, right? So the business started moving back up and really getting more attractive when their story type of business started doing well. If you guys know, Snap started doing this kind of story method where they have like content shows that are vertical, but they're actually content. Like you can actually watch complete shows on Snap. What this did was also give them a lot of advertisement. And so with that, that's where they started really making some money in the advertisement business. So to me, I think that's what you have to watch. How does their content continue to grow? Can they get something on there that is actually, watched by the mass? That's another thing to keep an eye. And another thing is Snap kind of the move going forward, or will TikTok continue to take away some of the market share from Snap? And you can see Snap kind of start fading away.
And one more thing, just to kind of address, I was asked, sorry about that.
No. To me, I'm not a big Snap fan. But
yeah, neither am I. But when it was so hot, when we'll trade hot stocks, even if we're not a fan of the actual company. David is asking, what about the gap at 28-ish on your screen? So I actually did mark off some of these areas. We're just talking about the 38.50 level. The top of the gap that you're talking about is 34.50-ish, and the bottom of that gap is about 29.50, or maybe even 29. Before we even get into this gap area, I would say that there's probably going to be a bounce prior to that. Now, what I will say is that if we break beneath 34.50, that gap is likely to be filled. So I wouldn't want to be long if that support area does not hold.
Yeah, it's a fun one because there's a gap on the upside and there's a gap on the downside. Let's see where it decides to go.
Exactly. Got me home, baby.
All right,
James is asking, can you tell me how important the 200-day moving average is?
All right, hold on. I gotta block somebody in the chat here.
Oh yeah, block the spammer. Okay, I'll go ahead and start with that.
There you go.
I would say that the 200-day moving average is arguably going to be one of your most important moving averages. And I say that for a couple of reasons. Number one, a lot of people use this. A lot of people take a longer term view of some of their investments, and a 200-day moving average is going to be more important at that point than a 50-day moving average. Mm-hmm. But speaking of the 50-day moving average, there are two very big chart indicators, if you will, that people talk about. It's the golden cross and the death cross, and that involves the 200-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. Golden cross would be when the 50 crosses through the 200 to the upside, and the death cross would be when it crosses through the 200 to the downside. So I would say this is one of the more important moving averages. And when I say important, it's more viewed by a host of traders, whether they be day traders or swing traders, or even people that are monitoring investments. It's just one of those moving averages that seems to be a really, really important point. The last key thing, though, about moving averages is that none of these are set in stone. These are just indicators. These are tools in your toolbox to help you build your trade. It's not going to be set in stone. There's no rule that when a stock price reaches a 200, it has to bounce. It's just that's normally what happens. So I would say it's one of the more important moving averages. I use it pretty much on any chart that I use moving averages on.
Yeah, another key measurement that comes from those moving averages is a lot of the market breadth outlook. So I talk about it constantly, how the SMA 200, I watch this on FinViz to see how many stocks are underneath the SMA 200, how many stocks are above the SMA 50. So below, you're seeing what you want to see is kind of this go more into the green if you're trading the upside. Of course, you don't want to see it leading into the red continuously on the downside. So this has actually been getting worse. On Monday, it was actually down towards 52, and now we're back towards 58. The SMA 50 was actually down towards, let's say, 57, and now back above 60, showing us still some relative weakness in the market. So when you're talking about SMA 200, a lot of that's going to be bullish and bearish, but also comes in effect with, like Ryan mentioned, with some strategies like the death cross, golden cross. Here's a golden cross, and on Snap, we saw that death one on Snap. You could see it clearly right above here. Boom, on the downside. All right, guys. So I want to go ahead and
real quick, just 1 sec. Oh, market's open. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, I got you. I wanted to give you guys. So to me, downside moves, I'm going to be looking for DNA to get shorted. I don't have shorts easily located for this one. So, of course, I'm not going to be probably shorting this one. But THC is another one. Why am I looking for these for shorts? Because Humana and these kind of health stocks really taking a hard hit yesterday. So we're looking for the continuation downside move on healthcare plans.
NVIDIA moving out the gate here. Zunaid, what do you see, my man?
Man, NVIDIA, I posted it on Twitter, a screenshot. I went ahead and got out 3/4 of NVIDIA already. I'm waiting for the rest. If it breaks 280, I'll go ahead and get out, but that's just kind of like leaving it a runner for me. So no new trade, but if you were following what I said in pre-market, I did respond to Will. It was Will, not Mike. I was saying his name wrong, but I responded with a screenshot to him of my buys and sells.
All right,
Berlin, I have to get back into the happy hour. Sour, I've been missing it. Berlin, that's no problem. We are casual in the happy hour. Attendance is absolutely not required. I encourage everyone to join it as they can, but don't worry about it. We'll keep your seat warm, and whenever you can make it back, you're welcome back. Not a problem, my man.
All right, watching ARKK to give me at least a growth indicator here on the side. I'm going to keep an eye out on that GME. Also, of course, on watch here, just broke through that 160 that I talked about, potentially seeing that downside action. What happens when it hits that 160? It went down all the way to 156. So going to keep an eye out on GME potentially for a short here. What we need to do is we need to break towards the downside on the VWAP. VWAP is sitting here. We're on 158 here. We're going to look for a move towards 155 and then a retrace towards that 158. And then we'll see what happens there. Let me take a look at Lucid. How's Lucid doing out the gates here? We push towards that 38. Remember how I talked about how that's a major resistance, 38.03. What happens on Lucid? It was a quick push. So let's see what happens at that 38. It just rejected from it. Does it get above that? If it gets above that, I'll actually be looking for Lucid on the upside. If it gets below the VWAP now, we'll be looking for kind of a short.
Market looks like it's pulling a little bit out of the open here. Nothing to really panic about. I did see on my scanner both the S&P short ETFs popped up, but they quickly disappeared. So we'll just keep an eye on that.
All right, looking for THC short. It's looking good here. I need a little bit of a bounce towards 77.20s, and then I could get short here. Let me get short here. Let me see if I can get it. Let you guys know if I get in here.
I saw Jeff was shouting out Toyota Motors. You know, I know Ford and GM have been moving recently. Toyota made a new high recently. I wouldn't chase this candle, but this is interesting. Jeff, let me know if you had any other context on that.
Taking a look at this right now, the only thing that is a little bit worrisome is the spread's a little bit bigger here. on THC. So I don't like getting into stocks where the spread's 40 cents. That just doesn't seem smart.
Too spready.
It just
talk about it.
Smart. It's just hard.
Not
I want to take the trade. It makes sense to take the trade off the daily, but it's just hard, man. I would have to go such low sizing to give it room. That's what happens. That's the only way I could take it. Like if I cut the size down by like a fourth and only take a fourth of my normal position there. Lucid coming back to VWAP. So if you guys are looking for the VWAP bounce play, that's in play here for Lucid. I'm trying to look for a breakdown above and below important levels. But if you were looking, let's say, for a long on Lucid today, it is in play right here at the VWAP.
Interestingly enough, AMC coming up on my relative volume scanner looks like it dipped out of the open, but the buyers are starting to step in here. GME looks like that sold out of the open, and buyers are starting to catch the bounce. So we'll keep watching that. Donkey Kong, Mitch, isn't this how you call DraftKings? Donkey Kong also on that scanner, bouncing out of the open here. We'll see if this can take out the pre-market high at about 26.50.
Yeah, Donkey Kong starting to get some support there. Longer term, I would wait for it to get some bananas before you really start going.
Well done, Mitch.
Until it gets those bananas, I would keep an eye out on it. But it looks like a little Diddy Kong today. We won't say Donkey Kong yet.
We're having too much fun with the Donkey Kong name. I absolutely love it.
All right, let's keep it going, guys. Oh, I didn't even get my sounds ready today. I had some good ones today. I'm looking up for some more, so we're going to keep adding some things. We're going to do some analyst rating talk. We're going to talk about earnings once we get earnings to come back. So get ready, guys. This is the one place you want to be right here, live trading with Benzynga. You guys do us a favor, smash that thumbs on up. Over 800 people joining us today, and we do this every day absolutely live.
And absolutely free.
Yeah, that's the important part. Let's just be honest. All right, man, this THC, I'm going to ignore you because – the spread doesn't want to tighten up for me. I was thinking of maybe getting in there at 77.50s, but the risk would be about 50 cents there.
Roy is saying there's a rumor Lucid overstated their delivery numbers. That would cause for a great short setup.
So with that being mentioned, I'm going to go and show you guys what I'm looking at Lucid, right? There's a big resistance right here at 38.03. Now we came up once, twice, 3-time rejection, right? So for me here, it can hold support and try to take out 38 one more time. But if it fails that, I think it's going to go ahead and test down towards the low of the day, and I'd be looking for a breakdown. Above this is the breakout. DraftKings is looking good here. Definitely on the left-hand side, you see the 1 minute. It really pushed on up there. 26.43 running into the resistance right now. Look for a pullback towards the VWAP on that one. I would use more the 5-minute VWAP bounce. So looking for an extension here on the 5-minute, but then also looking for the retracement towards 26.15.
Looks like some of those Chinese stocks continue to bounce here. I know at the beginning of the week, we talked about a potential trade that we got actually from one of the gentlemen in the happy hour who's really plugged into the Asian markets. We were saying that might run up into the Olympics, and here we go. So KWEB would be the way that I would play it. You guys know my aversion to Chinese stocks, but if I were to play something like that, it would be through an ETF. I feel like I have a degree of safety added on top of that. That trade continues. When we first talked about it, we're looking at about 34.75. We're printing just above 36 here, so if we can build above this and keep going, that might be a good trade as well.
If you guys remember, I called out the trade for the China trade on the long side, Baidu, JD, and Baba yesterday at 10:30. Yeah. Reason why was there was a big spike in Baidu, showing me that a big buyer was stepping up. I know it was on radar for a lot of people, so that just gave me the sign that, okay, let's go ahead and see the laggard plays, how they would follow. And you saw in JD, you saw in Baba, you saw in PDD.
Yep.
All of them kind of catch that bid and then really start coming on up. Whenever you see them all move in a direction, that is not a singular stock move. That is what I call an industry move. When industry moves go on, that's when I look for baskets. I look for all of them. You can diversify. There's no need to just be in one. And I think this is a lot of things that doesn't get taught to day traders out there, is that what if you just split your sizing into all of them and gave yourself a little diversification into the basket?
And real quick, talking about PDD, I see in the chat here, Jeff D is saying PDD went nutty. Man, you are correct. And I believe yesterday it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Sandra who was in here who called PDD when some of these Chinese stocks started to bounce. Look at the move that this thing made. And it actually tried to come into the $47 low that it had made the pre-market the day before. It went D's nutty. Oh, Jeff, man, you're full of the jokes today. Didn't quite get all the way down to 47, but as soon as those buyers stepped in, this thing reversed and went crazy. And here we are trading up even more today. So these stocks seem to continue to be on a run. Baba, 2 on the relative volume upside scan.
Breakouts, guys. Lucid, DraftKings, Baidu all continue on the upside. Look how that 38 acted here on Lucid. Just that 38 alone would have got you, if you scalped it through that 38, that's a 55-cent boost right there. That's why it's such an important price point. Going back to Zunaid.
Yeah, I'm just kind of checking out GME here. I looked for the trigger to be pulled here on the 150s. It's currently testing VWAP. I really want to short this, but I feel like it's already up. It's obviously got relative strength, right? It's up 18%, and I'm not trying to mess with that. But like, I am aching to try to take this one short on GME, but maybe one contract for fun. Here, let me see what the spread is like. All right, I'll take one for fun. This is literally for fun. All right, I got filled at $141 on the 140 puts expiring this week. Again, I am completely okay risking all of this, but realistically, if it closes above VWAP, I want to go ahead and get out.
Yep.
And I see in the chat Raptor asking about Tesla. I think he's saying Tesla call anyone. Tesla looks like it's bouncing here. I am not trading Tesla. Every time I do trade Tesla, I donate money to the cause. I don't need
big spike there in AMC. Just be careful with that GME.
Yeah. Look at these triggers, right? I missed GME trigger by maybe about $1 less than, and then I missed the Tesla trigger by a couple of bucks on Tesla. You know what I mean? But it's all good. It happens.
Just to call out with DraftKings, Penn also moving on up, and I like the chart actually better. It actually makes more sense because it's holding the trend really well. Look at these VWAP bounces. All throughout this whole time, it VWAP bounced, and then broke out. You could have been nailing any of those. If anything, adding on those, there's some people that like to add on VWAPs. So they take a small position, then they add at the VWAP touch. They add at the VWAP touch. They add at the VWAP touch. Why? Because the price action keeps telling them that it's to the upside and that they're buying on pullbacks. That could have made you a big trade there in Penn today.
All right, catching up here. This has been a huge move here. Viacom, great little reversal.
All right, Jimmy. Sorry, real quick, Jimmy. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of this one. I got in at $1.41. I got out at $1.06. So risk 40 cents simply because it's going above VWAP. Go ahead, man.
Yep, no problem. I was just going to say Viacom. I saw a couple of people mentioning this in the chat. This has been mentioned several times over the past couple of days. Really has kind of rounded off of its bottom. Where's Neil Hamilton? I don't know. But anyway, this is trading up really, really nicely here. A nice, strong move out of the gate here today. I would imagine
that this suffer with Viacom.
Say again?
I don't know why I always suffer to remember the name. Not remember the name, remember the ticker.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But look, Discovery and Viacom, guys, those were the two.
Content
Discovery led and Viacom lagged. Look at this, guys. Look at it from the 20th. This is the 20th candle. I'm going to draw a circle on that and watch how this one led and this one lagged. This one was on the downside that day. This one started pushing back up there. Then they just started coming on back. This is why you got to keep these stocks and watch multiple charts, not just one, because it could give you that look. Discovery going up. All right, I'm going to look for Viacom to continue going. Relationships, guys. It's so important.
Bed Bath & Beyond approaching the after hours high of about 1550. If it takes that out, I think your next stop here might be a test of 1640 on the intraday high that we had yesterday. We'll see if this can actually keep going, though. This is one of those that can reverse if the buyers just kind of dry up a little bit. So be careful on this.
Discovery ripping on up there. So is Lucid, guys. It's up there almost towards 39 now. That's why I was telling you guys I didn't want to trade Lucid short right out the gates, right? Because there was no point. The important part for me was a break down or break above these important price points. You guys saw it here. 38.03 is now pushing up there towards 39. This could continue going through and getting up there towards 40. Ford was another one I was going to keep a close eye on it today to see if it wanted to push back up there and get through to 25s. It looks interesting. It just did put it in a big candle on the 5-minute. You can maybe hold VWAP here. How's the overall market doing here? Let's take a look at the SPY.
Overall market is turning to the upside here.
Yep, finding a good bid there, guys. So definitely keep your eyes on the SPY as we start pushing back. I'm going to take a look here at the sectors, see what we're seeing moving right now. But let's put the SPY up here. Let's look at the sectors and see what is moving on out there. So we got energy leading us on up right now. We're going to continue to see what happens in energy. But technology, actually, look how this reversal came in technology today, guys. So take a look at some tech names. Of course, we've already called out some of those that are moving. I'll take a look at some other ones and call out some big movers today. MRIN is a big mover today.
Yep.
Keep your eyes on that one, guys. It just did a nice little spike above VWAP. I would look for a pullback towards the 440s. We'll see if that one can continue moving. DCT.
Word of note on MRIN really quick, Mitch. That actually popped up several times this morning on my relative volume scanner that I use for upside trading like that. So good spot there.
Yep, perfect. CD also moving on up here. SLP, Nerdy even making a little bit of a move here. Software stock pushing on up there about 10%. I really don't like software, but that shows you that it's probably on the oversold side, getting a little bit of a bounce.
That's all right, Mitch. Talk nerdy to me.
It's how it goes, man. Consumer cyclicals.
Face was, oh my God. Sorry, Zunaid's face was priceless right there. That was pretty awesome.
Cyclicals, guys. Cyclicals really leading on up there today. GME, you got Discovery moving. TKAT. I don't trade this one often, but it does look nice. Pushing on up there. It's a $3 stock.
NFT play.
Yeah. Hey, there you guys have it. CPOP moving. AMC moving on up there today. Even Jemaya moving on up today, guys. Look at Jemaya pushing on up there towards 1088. Could get through the 11s. That looks like an interesting one for a scalp. VIPS also moving today. That one's an interesting one. Specialty retail also pushing on up there. A lot of these kind of cheaper names taking a lift. EVgo also getting in a little push. We saw that one kind of get a halt. So just be careful. That one can start running. I saw a lot of volume get into that one kind of 2 days ago. So we'll see what happens on EVgo, but I definitely keep it on radar as we pushed up there towards $10 and look to continue.
You've got Tesla here that's above VWAP looking at 1072. Will, let me know in the chat what you're thinking, because I'm thinking about taking the 1100 on Tesla if it can close this 10-minute candle above VWAP. And you've got GME coming right back down. You can see on the 5-minute, it tried to poke above, which is where it shook me out. Now it's coming down below. If you wanted to actually go ahead and take that yellow, you could. It's still looking at about $1.25 on the ask. But if it breaks 150, that's where I really think you have a promising short side. And it's tested it right now. I'm going to go ahead and take it again. Got in at $1.22 on the GME short 140 puts. And this time I actually will just let it be. Whatever happens, happens. You know, it is what it is. By the way, my alerts are going off. Hopefully it's not.
Nope, I couldn't even tell.
We fixed the problem, chat.
You did it in 3 seconds, too. You had it fixed same day.
You guys
credit where credit is due, my friend.
You guys are awesome.
Momo up today about 4%. I haven't traded that one in forever.
Roblox bouncing off yesterday's lows, 84.75-ish, 84.50-ish.
Looks like gambling up 2.3% today. So definitely take a look at some of those plays. DKNG, RSI, GAN.
Real quick. Sorry, that GME put that we took, you're up about 30% on that one because as you can see it, go ahead and touch 150. So come on, go ahead and close it out. Don't say I didn't give you winners this week. Obviously, it's only 25%, but at least scale out because it is testing 150. That could be supported. Could come back in. Go ahead and start closing it out just in case.
Hey, well, looks like Zunaid heard that 160 to 150. Remember we talked about that pre-market? You nailed it, my friend.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you nailing that idea for me because I couldn't execute on it.
Hey, it's all right. There were plenty of times where lucid. You took advantage of it. You went short real nice on that one.
That's what it's about, right? Some of us executing.
This 150, I wanted to break on this 5-minute. I wanted to be below 150, and I wanted to continue crashing down. If this could close, if this could go all the way from green to red, that would be freaking phenomenal. Don't know if that'll happen, AMC, but please close out.
Big trap in AMC. I'm going to be looking to maybe short AMC. That was a trappy candle if I've ever seen one. You squeeze it up there 40 cents, and then you just drop the rug on everybody. That's exactly what you see in AMC. Squeeze it up 40 cents, drop the rug on everybody.
Great question here real quick from Mike Miller. Can alerts be set on Benzynga Pro for a particular stock price? No, they can't. Sad trombone. However, this is something that we are addressing early this year. Look for this to become a feature at some point this year. If I had an exact timeline, I'd give it to you right now, but I don't have that yet. This is coming. We're going to try to overlay them on charts so it's going to be even easier for you. So, like I said, really exciting things coming. No, I'm sorry, Mike, not yet. Please use your broker, but pretty soon we will meet your need.
All right. Lucid up there now towards 39.65, guys. Hope someone was able to get that VWAP bounce trade. We talked about it also, right out the gates. I talked about how it wasn't my setup, so I wasn't going to take the trade. But VWAP bounce trade was beautiful there around 37.75. You could have got that breakout through that 38. You were risking maybe about 25 cents there towards the 50, and you got more than a point move there on Lucid up there now through the highs. Up there towards 39.62. Big breakout there in Lucid today.
GME is still battling that 150. And look, regardless of if it comes back up or not, I am going to go ahead and close out at least half my size here on GME. I'm going to go ahead and get out. I got out at $1.50 on GME here. Now it's breaking. This is what I want to see. I want to see this 5-minute close below the 150. It gives me a little bit more confidence. At least in my head it does. We'll see how the stock reacts.
All right. Well, you guys saw Zunaid take an option trade on the downside there, but also could have just been the common VWAP fade. So you could have just been fading the commons also and nailing the trade.
So you probably heard my alert there. That was because it vibrated on the desk during a very quiet period. It's just one of those.
Don't worry, I got that same vibration. It was Q1 meeting.
Yep, quarterly meeting. All right, that's really awesome. I had noticed in the chat, Steve was asking, please give a look at BYND, B-Y-N-D. It's Beyond Meat, of course. Will it come down? Thoughts? ? So the thing that I think here about Beyond Meat, first of all, just so you understand, full disclosure, I'm not a fan of this company or the product at all, but we're going to talk about the chart and what we see here in the chart. Beyond Meat, this is something that have really been beaten down recently. In fact, it looks like there is some type of seller exhaustion here. Let me throw the RSI on this chart so we can kind of get that as well. RSI looks to actually be in no man's land as we're kind of trading up here. So to me, it looks like this might have been a trade into a support area, probably some seller exhaustion, maybe a little bit of a dead cat bounce here. I don't see any news from today. Looks like we had a post here that has a kind of a bearish sentiment to it. But as far as my thoughts, given the information that I have today, this looks to me just to be a bounce from just exhaustion of selling. It looks like we did this yesterday. We're continuing a bit today. Again, we're just kind of right back to where we were at the beginning of the week here.
All right. Looking at some other plays out there, lodging, reopening plays looking like they're doing well right now. Let me take a look at the industrials, see if I see airlines up also. Yep, airlines up also. ULCC up about 4.18%. So you guys can take a look at that. That's Frontier discount one. I kind of like how it's just holding the VWAP right there, but it kind of did this gap up in pre-market. So just be careful here. But it did look interesting right there at that level. You could take a look at Goal, DAL up 2.4%. Delta Airlines up there towards 4110s. Love also up about 2%. So JetBlue getting towards that 2%. A lot of these kind of near that 2% UAL, and we'll see if these can continue making moves on the upside. Farming and heavy construction, I wanted to take a look at Caterpillar. How's Caterpillar doing today? Nice little chart there on Caterpillar. We can look for a pullback. I'd look for a 5-minute VWAP bounce. Oh, looks like we already got it there. Came back to the support there, came back above VWAP. Maybe look for a 2250 touch here. But definitely Caterpillar looking like it wants to continue on the upside. DE is the one that I'd definitely keep on watch. How did that perform right now? Made a move in pre-market to 384s. Just trying to hold VWAP here. I'd take a look at this one on the 15-minute. Look for it to hold 378, then get back through 380 on the upside.
Real quick on Tesla, I'm taking a look at the 1,100-hour contracts on Tesla. I'm going to go ahead and grab some here. Got filled at, 333 and 355. Seriously, how is that even? Okay. Anyway, the reason being is because it's above VWAP. We already mentioned that, and I went ahead and added a little bit more. And if it gets around 1080, I'm going to go ahead and scale out. Also looking at Apple here, you can see it tested the session highs from the previous 10-minute and also the pre-market highs as well. If you believe the idea is to go short, beautiful risk reward here. If you want to go long, I'd wait for it to close maybe above 174 if you want to go ahead and go long on Apple. And GME, now you're looking at about 147. Those contracts are now at 50%. The puts are scale out because you never know this can come back up.
Like always, there's always going to be a hater out there. Joel's a hater today, saying that I was saying that the market was going to go bye-bye in the morning. Just look how the reaction went in the morning on that SPY. It was coming on down. One thing that you need to do is, as a trader, is be flexible, Joel. You got to be able to take both sides. If I say that the market's going down, you can't get offended by it. You got to go ahead and look at the levels. Levels are what is important here. Just like on Lucid, I was looking for a short, but when it went long, you didn't see me go shorting there, right? And so that's the important part there, is always knowing your levels and being flexible as a trader. If you're not flexible, then you ain't going to make it in this business. Just like the charge point, guess what? I sold it. There's a reason why I sold it, right? Is that it went through that risk spot and you get on out. The key is sticking to your system, and that's what we're going to do, Joe. Regardless if you're trying to hate or not, we'll keep going.
Come on, Tesla. I need you to giddy up.
Looking at this Build-A-Bear for short, but not there's too little share size trading there, so it's hard to get it out there.
On that GME, keep it also in mind, it's a weekly, right? So if this move doesn't happen ASAP, aka we don't get it going too quick, you're going to go ahead and have an issue with your theta eating you up. You're getting some call action, by the way, on ticker SNOW, SNOW. Looks like they're buying the March 18th. I'm going to actually go long commons here. Going to buy some shares, small size, but they're buying the March 18th, 2022 expiration, 310 calls, about $1.7 million worth on SNOW. I bet you SNOW is going to start popping here. And there it is. Look at that.
Nice job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice job. And over 306, you might get some more Mo on that too.
Called out in the chat. I'll say it, Will. You're on it, man. MRIN. We talked about a potential pullback close towards VWAP. It didn't get towards the 440 there, but it's already up there almost to 5. So definitely, if you were able to nail that MRIN, beautiful pre-market chart too. So when you see these kind of nice flags in the pre-market, look for them to hold sideways for about a couple hours of consolidation. That's where you got the buyers to step back in there right above 450s. Now it's pushing towards 5. We'll see if it gets through that $5 level and continues through. Next resistance I would give is 525 on the upside.
Market trying to push here too. Red, green
yes,
move,
it
and we're going
is.
to continue to push up here. So this is encouraging.
Yes, it is. And real quick, on the SNOW, if you got in, how long is the stream delay? Do you know, Mitch? Because I don't want to call out these scalps if there's like a 7-second stream delay.
Honestly, it just depends. It changes up, man. It's always gonna be like that. If it's a scalp, then just call it a scalp, and then just tell people that probably you shouldn't be following.
This is actually a really good PSA right now. Understand that the technology limits us on how fast we can deliver things. So factor that in if you're going to trade. If Zunaid's going to call something out like that, understand that you might be seeing it a second or two later, and there isn't a whole lot that we can do about that. So factor that into your trading plan. Don't be faked out by that. It's hard enough. Don't lose money because of that.
Yeah, the reason I mentioned that is because I'm going to go ahead and get out of 3/4 of my SNOW here at 305. Just went ahead and got filled. Real quick, on Tesla, it looks like those contracts are up about 20%. I was really hoping to take profits at around this 1082. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, but you're up about 20% on those contracts, so don't let it go red. But I'm personally going to look for that 1082 to go ahead and start scaling out. And then over 1084 is where I really can start making money. SNOW, by the way, regardless of the delay stream or not, now you're trading at about 306. I'm going to go ahead and scale out some more shares here. I'm out of SNOW a little bit more at 306.68. And like Ryan said, if it can get above that 306, which you see was the previous session high, or it was a high of yesterday, it can really start going. And look at that, dude. SNOW. I'm just going to full screen this thing right here.
So today is one of the clear examples of stocks that were getting smashed earlier in the week, oversold on the downside, getting pops up. Exact example, SNOW. And where does this fall into? It falls into software application. You can look for Roblox, and a lot of the software names kind of doing the same thing.
I'm just going to let the remaining of snow just go ahead and go. My entry is 303, so I'm just going to let this go. I'm going to set a stop loss here at 302.50. If it breaks 302.50, then I'm going to go ahead and get out on the remaining 50 shares that I have. But let me go back to Tesla and see what that puppy's doing. Let's go back here. Go 3.
Even solar names doing well today, which are an industry that's been hit the hardest lately.
And look at this on GME, right? These boxes, this rectangle, we went ahead and put these out before the market opened. We put it out in pre-market to show you, hey, here's where it bounced. Look at it bounce here. And what do you know? Right on the session right now, trading, it's kind of bouncing. It's acting as support. So if this breaks, I'm looking for a next leg down. So this is actually a really good scale out spot. If you haven't already, we'll keep saying it. You're up about 42% on those puts. Go ahead and scale out.
All right, guys, it doesn't look like it's going to be a trading day for me today, and we're going to start wrapping on up here, guys. So you guys do us a favor, smash that thumbs on up. I'll let these guys review any trades that they've taken today, and we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. We got our Q1 meeting, so we got to go ahead and keep building here at Benzynga. So we're going to wrap on up. There will be no content coming on next. We won't be coming on until I think about 3 o'clock. When we come on and at the close. So we wish you guys the best in the market today. Definitely smash the thumbs on up. Hit the comments after if you want to see something different or more of on live trading. Maybe it's just breaking down our strategies, or maybe it's you just want to see a little bit more of how Zunaid takes his trades. Whatever it may be, you guys put the feedback in the comments after. We'll definitely check it out. And I'll let Ryan and Zunaid, do you guys want to do anything on the wrap?
Yeah, real quick. I just want to see if it looks like we sank a little bit out of the open with the broader market. We then traded back up. I want to see if this continues. Do we give these gains back in the afternoon? Does that set up for a Monday where things are going to be bloody? Don't forget, Monday is going to be Black Monday. So a lot of people in the NFL are going to be fired. Not that that has anything to do with the stock market, but just keep that in mind. So, maybe Monday will not be the greatest day for everyone. We'll see. And then the other thing is, I know I just talked about it at the beginning, but I want to keep watching Charo, because I'll tell you what, as soon as that big seller was removed, this stock traded completely different, looking good today. Really, really excited about these premises. So I'm just going to kind of keep watching the market. I'm pretty good where I am right now. I don't think I'm going to take any YOLOs on this Friday. I don't want to be faked out. So that would be my closing comment.
Yeah, I'll just wrap it up by saying I'm glad I was able to finally give you guys some winners. We had Snow, we had GME, we've had Tesla. And I just want to say, look at this, right? You're waiting for GME to break. If it breaks, that's awesome. Right here on Tesla, it's testing VWAP. So I really hope you started scaling out, but it's because if not, if it closes above VWAP, it's not the best sign ever. So scale out all your trades. It's Friday. Theta is going to kill you. And you guys have a phenomenal green day.
Enjoy your weekend. Stay safe and healthy.
Like always, guys, we'll keep trading here on Live Trading with Benzynga. We'll see you guys next week. Like always, gone fishing, says Webcoin. I think that's what we should have done too, but I don't want to get in trouble. We'll go ahead and wrap it on up, guys. We'll see you next time right here on Live Trading with Benzynga. And like always, guys, you guys know that we have a Hoaxade.
What they want, what they need, I will never lose, I'm a beast. If you want it, come and get it.
By the way, those of you that emailed Aaron Thomas about the PC, that was hilarious. He slacked me. He's like, "Did you just want me to do that?" I was like, "Yes, absolutely." Appreciate